How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Palantir. But before we get started, if you haven't done so already, please download the free cheat sheet that talks about the 5 best option strategies to trade like a pro. It will help bring your game to the next level. You can find it in the first link in the comments and as well as inside the description. I feel that you guys will find it very helpful. Plus, you'll be able to stay up to date with my weekly watch list and all that good stuff. So in regards to Palantir, it was up 1.67% on the day. We do have a volatile market, knowing that we have CPI that's coming out on Friday. So of course, I want to make sure you guys are prepared. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Palantir. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $9.13, being up 1.67%. On the low, it tested $8.73, and then on the high, testing $9.14. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 27.904 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 37.361 million shares. So right away, we had below average volume on the day, but we saw some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it's at 50.22. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day. We're also below the 50-day. But the good thing is we were able to close above the 21-day EMA. It is currently at $8.89, and we closed at $9.13. So we are consolidating above this level, and this is exactly what you want to see. And as you can see from the lines that we had, you can also check out the previous video. We had it drawn out. It filled in the gap right at $9.40, and of course it has pulled back, but it doesn't take it out of the game as of yet. So if we can get another move to 940 to retest it again, this would definitely be the best case scenario for this play. The high of the day was at $9.14. So if we have a strong day inside of the market, I think this could help Palantir make that move to see what it could do from there. But for the most part, if we continue to have resistance around this level, we can see it clearly even at around 936. This is definitely not a good sign for the play whatsoever. I want to make sure I'm being clear about that. Now, if it decides to break through the 21-day EMA, of course, we want to see support coming in around $8.36. The low of the day was $8.73. So that's still some distance away, but just something to keep in mind. So that 21-day EMA is what you want to keep an eye on. You want Palantir to be continuing to have closes above 889. The moment it starts breaking down below that, that's where it can start looking fairly bearish and pull back even further. But for the most part, as far as what I'm seeing for this play, it should be able to hold up above 850. And again, this is pending because we do have the CPI that's going to be coming out on Friday. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Palantir. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. When we take a look at the recent filings for June the 2nd, you see Sheaf Brock Investment Advisors with a call, which they ended up closing out. And then we have Verichin Fund Management LLC that purchased 30,465 shares. And now when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 41.10%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 6.67 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 10 million, updated 28 minutes ago, and then for the short biofuel rate, it is at 0.28%. And then when we take a look at the history of the short volume, you can see for the close of the 3rd, it was 41.30, and then for the close of the 6th, being at 41.10. And then taking a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 7.54%. Palantir does not have the criteria that we look for short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Palantir. So we see on the inflow is at 25.89 million, and then on the outflow it's at 41.48 million. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large it was 0, on the medium it was 17.57 million, and then on the small it was 8.32 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large it was 0, on the medium it was 31.56 million, and then on the small it was 9.92 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for June the 7th and as well as the 6th, we have 0. And then we had an outflow on the 3rd, which was negative 1.67 million. Analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side. You could see that we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, you can see 0 on both sides. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 1.37%. So this is not too bad for a stock like Palantir. And if you are an investor inside of the play, this is exactly what you want to see. Many are still holding on to their positions. There's not a lot of trading, and the bulk of the trading is not done by traders. So that's one thing you want to keep in mind when you're buying into stocks, especially for investment purposes. You want to make sure it is as low as possible. It will give you a good idea in regards to liquidity, and also it will contribute to the volatility that you see in the play as well. So let's move on to the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Palantir when it comes to the price action, so we ended up seeing a high at $9.14, and I'm going to be straight up with you guys. That is not good enough. What Palantir needs to do, it needs to get to $9.40. And if it can get to $9.40, that's where I want to see the bull step in and push the stock price up even further. I will not take anything less than that in regards to a victory. And the reason why, it continues to have resistance. So far, the trend is showing us that it's forming lower lows and as well as lower highs, and it's doing this consistently for about 3 trading days. But one thing that I want you guys to know though, it is still keeping price action above the 21-day EMA, and that is around $8.89. So if it wants to consolidate above this level, that is perfectly fine. That makes Palantir look strong. But again, we want to see it making a move up, especially if we see some more strength coming into these markets. I want to see Palantir follow. We need to break above $9.40. This is very crucial here. If we don't do that and we decide to break through the 21-day EMA, that's where it could start looking bleak. But if Palantir could hold up at least above $8.50, then I'll be like, you know what? It is doing okay. But as far as for the downside is concerned, if we end up breaking through 850, that's where it could really start looking weak. So please keep an eye on that so you know what it looks like to the downside, and as well what you are expecting for the upside. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we do see some activity, but we don't see a lot. And then taking a look at the short interest information, like I've said in my previous Palantir videos, it doesn't have short squeeze potential. But at the same time, we could still play momentum off of the charts. And like I just said, it just seems to be consolidating at the moment. But you want that price action above the 21-day EMA. That is what is very crucial. And if you don't know about the 21-day EMA, this gives us a sign in regards to the trend. And that's why I say as far as for the trend is concerned, it is looking strong. And I have mentioned the 21-day EMA in a lot of my videos. And usually when the stock price is able to get to that level, we could start seeing it starting to pick up. And that is part of the reasons why we were able to get that gap fill when it did get to 940, and then just kind of sold off and consolidated from there. So that's why it's very important that you have a game plan so you can take advantage of the movements in the market. We also have the CPI data that's going to be coming out on Friday. So what this means is if we end up having a pullback in the entire market, this will affect Palantir, and everything that I said in regards to the bullish case scenario is definitely going to change. We also have to take into consideration we have the Fed meeting for next week, and we also have the quad witching on the Friday. Be prepared for this volatility. I know you guys watching my videos, so you should have no problems with it whatsoever. And to remind you guys again, if you want to take your option game to the next level, download my 5 strategies to trade options like a pro. You can find the link in the first comment, and you also can find it in the description. Plus, on top of that, you'll be able to stay up to date, and I also will be putting out weekly watch lists and a lot more content out there for you guys so you can stay up to date in the stock market. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.